It's Brother Abdul back, man. I told you I was going to try to be a little more consistent with these reviews, you know, while I'm back for the next couple weeks. Before I get too much into the review, I'm going to address something that jumped off on the Facebook group. We tend to joke a lot, you know, the few people that I actually kind of interact with on a regular basis. But it was a dude, he kept asking me like, yo, why you always got your hat on? I know the A is for Abdul, but why you always got the hat on? You know, you got the X Factor. And X Factor, you know, for those who don't know, is the rapper, and X Factor has a pretty long forehead, like, and dudes was giving him the business in the group to the point that X Factor got emotional and left the group. So it was kind of crazy, but no, Brother Abdul don't got the X Factor. That's not. I don't have that kind of problem, you know. Thank God, because I don't know what I would do if I had the X Factor. But just for my homeboy, you know, I had to take the hat off for you, man. You know, Brother Abdul said he'd do it, and he did it. Back to the Don't Flop, man. I just recently got into the Don't Flop with Arsenal and Shotty, and I like Don't Flop. You know what I mean? I'm an actual fan. You know what I mean? They crowd. I'm a real fan of their crowd. Like, man, listen, just watch the Detroit dudes throw an event. When I say awful crowd, listen, it makes you really appreciate a cool crowd. Don't Flop got a dope crowd. They got a dope production. They got dope sound. I even like the matchups. The dude you know, is a dope you know, mascot, representative, whatever he may be. You know what I'm saying? I like him a lot better than I like most of the dudes who rep their leagues. You know, he ain't trying to be the star of the show or nothing like that. He ain't trying to crack jokes or be too cool. He just, boom, we got him over here, we got him over here, let's get it. Like, he business. I like dude. Can't say enough good about Don't Flop, man. I'm a fan, like I said. This dude, Tony D, I had never seen Tony D, never heard of Tony D. Because like I said, this whole thing is kind of new to me, the Don't Flop. But I'm gonna check him out though. You know, I like what I saw with him. I think he's dope. I like his complexity. I like his delivery. I like his energy. You know, he seems like he got the whole package. You know what I mean? Cool dude. First round, Tony came out and goes into kind of explaining a choke or a bad performance that he had recently, and it was dope. You know, it was a little long. Like, I don't know, it was a little longer than I feel like it should have been, but it was necessary. You know, it painted the picture, and you know, it was a gamble kind of because he threw it out there thinking that Clips was going to talk about it, but Clips being who he is, I think Clips kind of rearranged his plan on him. But it was dope though. Homie round was tough. Like, he had a lot of you know, he had a lot of moments in there. One of the joints, what he tucked in there, you know, he had a Supreme and Murder Inc. line, you know, and it was clever, you know, it was clever. I liked it. Man, he said so many joints though. Yeah, he had a lot of moments, man. I can't even give them to you off the top. Forgive me, but it was a real dope first round. He was turning up on Clips, and I was kind of thinking like, wow, you know, I wonder what Clips gonna come with. You know what I mean? Cause homie was nice. You know what I mean? Homie was nice. So then Clips finally came out, and Clips did his thing. Clips is a funny dude, you know what I mean? Clips a funny dude. One thing about Clips, man, Clips ain't super. In his battles, Clips doesn't tend to be as lyrical as I've seen him be in freestyles, you know what I mean? Or his mixtape for that matter. But Clips got amazing crowd control. You understand what I'm talking about? Amazing crowd control. And this nigga got like real dope charisma. Like, he's very likable, and this nigga really knows how to. Wow, he's good. Like, he's a good performer. You know what I mean? So that performance, you know, oh man, the rebuttal game was crazy as you expected, and he just, you know, he turned up on homie, man, to the point that he kind of neutralized the stuff that homie threw out there, and then he started spilling on him. So, you know, long story short, I edged the Clips. You know, that first round I edged the Clips. Through no fault of my man Tony D. Tony D did what he's supposed to do, but Clips just edged him, man, and it really, for me, for this particular round, it was about the performance. You know, he won with the performance, not necessarily his content. You know, one little thing that kind of bothered me about this particular battle, and it happens a lot, you see it a lot, and it bothers me every time. But when you got your homie on the stage with you and they're overacting, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like DNA was overacting. Like, he's sitting there with like the lost or confused sad face while my man rapping, like it was just horrible. And then when clips go, he's like, you know, super smiley, like, hey, I'm proud of my dad. Like, it was just too much. I understand that's your man, I get that. But I mean, we sports. Like, I mean, we were supposed to be sports, right? So I was kind of thrown by that. It was just distracting. Like, come on, man. The crowd is playing fair with y'all niggas. It ain't no need for you to go up there and try to act like super tough, you know what I mean? And honestly, I feel like the crowd was more excited to have, you know, clips than their own dude, Tony. So, you know, and not particularly this round, but as it progressed, I felt like they was just riding with clips more, just maybe because it was clips, or maybe because that nigga put that spell on them niggas. Like, clips be putting spells on niggas, like, you know, niggas like clips. So, I don't know. But, like I said, long story short, boom, clips got first round. There that go. Round 2. My man Tony D turned up. You know what I mean? He turned up. I feel like this may have been his best round, maybe. I don't know. He turned up though. And, you know, I'm gonna just give you the highlights. I mean, the highlights is he broke down Clip's style like real honestly and accurately, I think. You know what I mean? He talked about how Clips, you know, stretch all the schemes out. He rap mad long, all the pauses, the dramatics of Clip style, you know. And it's one of them styles that either you love it or you hate it, you know. And I know most people love it, you know what I mean? I like Clips, but I'm really not a fan of that style. So when my man was hitting them and breaking that style down, it was scoring heavy for me, because I was like, yo, exactly. Like, he was hitting line after line. It was tough. And then toward the end, he hit him with he broke down the Harlem thing again, you know. He started talking about a lot of the Harlem legends, you know. It was nice. It was nice, you know. And we heard, you know, something like that before, but I appreciate the way he put it together. It showed a lot. First of all, it showed that he was aware of the actual culture, like of hip hop. A lot of people probably don't even know or caught everything that was in there, and you know, a lot of people did. But the people who did, I think they'll appreciate what he brought to that second round. That second round was real. It was a strong look for him. The only thing that can be really critiqued in that second round, and I don't really know what to call it, but he paused and he took his jacket off. And when he took his jacket off, you know, he repeated his line, you know, maybe 2 or 3 times. And it didn't really seem like a choke or a stumble, but he broke the momentum, you know what I mean? He was flowing, you know, 100 miles an hour, bang, then he just took his jacket off. So he had to build his momentum again, and he did. But I just didn't like that. It was uncomfortable, especially with hearing how, yo, he choked his last battle. So I was like, oh nah, this nigga ain't about to choke, is he? So that's what it had me feeling like. But strong second round for homie. Then Clips came out. Clips came with the rebuttal, of course, right? And the rebuttal was cool. It wasn't as wild as the first one was to me. And the highlights of this one for Clips was he jumped into the Harlem scheme. He had the crowd rocking with him, you know. He said something, the crowd was, and they was giving him that love, so it was a dope build-up. And then that nigga turned into ice. You know what I mean? So it was like, woo! It was tough. It was real tough. I thought Clips was about to run away with it. He drug out the Harlem scheme a little bit, or I don't know if he drug it out, but the transition was dope when he hit the peak, and we saw where he was going with it. And then it just kind of, you know, it kind of fizzled out. You know what I mean? It was cool, but it just fizzled out. And then he spit a couple lines, whatever. And he said something. My man turned around and dapped his man. So what you giving him a pound for? And wow, my man say something greasy to Clips. Clips rebuttal that, and it got ugly. It was hype. I mean, it was nice. You know what I mean? It was real nice. Like, that was the highlight of Clips' whole second round right there. And he went on from there just to do whatever. Then he went into his Psych, I Lied. And it's real hard to say whether Clips choked or not, or he messed up for real. I personally think he did. I think he messed up just based on his son's face. When he turned around, his son had a dumb look on his face. And when Clips got the crowd back, then his son started smiling. So that made me feel like, yeah, it was a genuine mess up. It didn't go as planned, you know what I mean? So even though his recovery was pretty cool, the psych I lied is kind of overused for Clips. You know what I mean? It's kind of overused. So with that said, man, is what it is. Homie got that round. Tony D got that round. Clearly, I think. Yeah, Clips just ain't have enough. Clips ain't have enough. Is what it is. Round 3. Round three was cool. Round 3 was cool, man. Tony D, I like what he brought to round 3. I really like what he brought to round 3. I mean, homie got a lot of bars, man, and I hope that like the US fans is following him, you know what I mean, and catching what he's saying, because if you're not catching what he's saying, then you know it's kind of an unfair. He's at a disadvantage, you know, over here. But oddly enough, what's crazy to me, and I don't really understand, it seemed like the crowd was missing a lot of what he was saying. And I know they understand him, but I think the content in which that he was talking, I think it just, a couple people missed it, you know. One of my favorite little joints he put together in this round was the Slaughterhouse. I'm a Slaughterhouse junkie, you know what I mean? So when I seen him going with the nickel 9, gave my man the crooked eye, you know, brought the Tahiri, the Consequence, the buttons, he put it together nice, like it was nice. And the crowd was just like, you know, so maybe I'm tripping, but it was nice. Like, and this happened a few times. Like he dropped a few joints, and so when he pulled the joint out the boot and jacked them up with the spad chain, I can't remember the line, but it was dope. Like he had a few joints that was dope. And homie's a good writer. Homie's good. He stumbled though, and like most people when they stumble, he let it be known. Oh damn, shit! He said something. I mean, and he got it back though. He got it back real quick, and he hit him with 3 mean similes right back to back. And he said something like, "I lay hands on him like the preacher," and something, and then he tin him out like the Ray-Bans. I can't remember, but it was dope. It was dope. I felt like he kept a consistent pressure on Charlie that 3rd round. Real strong round for him. You know, I feel like it was better than his first, you know what I mean? But his second was the joint. But he had 3 good rounds, man. 3 good rounds. Charlie came out, and Charlie kind of ran out of steam. It felt like it felt like ain't no felt like Charlie was running out of steam round 2. You know what I mean? So he took that same, you know, weak momentum into the 3rd round. So when it really wasn't, it was real roller coaster for him, you know what I mean? Because it was kind of dry. Like you would see he was kind of reaching, and then he pulled something out the hat, like to get us back a little bit. He brought the real deal situation. Oh man, it was cool. It was cool. It was a good effort, but I could tell that it was sloppy though, you know what I mean? And Charlie's considered top tier. He's considered one of the best. So because of that, I can't give him those passes, man. Like, you can't keep coming out here playing, like, and, you know, freestyle. I know you can freestyle and it's dope when it works, but when it shows a lack of preparation, it's disgusting, it's disrespectful. You know what I mean? So I need Charlie to tighten up. You know what I mean? Charlie lost that round. Charlie lost that round. And I know, you know, the US people are probably mad at me, but it is what it is, man. We gotta play fair when we judging these things, man, because at the end of the day, we really talking about expansion of the culture. I know a lot of people say they for the culture, and they not. You know, we're not even talking about these brands right now. But bottom line is, we gotta call it fair, man. We gotta play fair. It's just it. You know what I mean? Everybody complain about crowd bias and fan bias and all kind of this bias. My man got that. You know what I'm saying? And I believe the only people that'll say that he didn't is people that just didn't understand. You know what I mean? If his accent lost you, then you need to remove yourself from the judging altogether because you didn't see the battle. You know what I mean? It's just that. It's just that. You know what I mean? It could be debatable. It could be debatable. But I'm really not. You know, I'm pretty strong with the 2-1 Tony D. Is what it is. Brother Abdul.
My beloved Iron Sheik say, Ball. Hold on. I got you.